Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. While I was covering some of the stuff going on in the Overwatch League and in Overwatch in general over the past couple weeks, we did get some Overwatch World Cup news. We got the schedule dropped as well as some other big news as well. So I want to talk about that today, kind of highlight some of the games that I'm most interested in for this first weekend of games, and we'll come back next week and talk about a little bit about what happened in the first weekend, kind of update the standings, all that type of stuff, and then talk about what is coming next weekend as well. But I want to start with the news that we got about the crowdfunding for the World Cup, which is pretty cool. They announced in a post on the Overwatch World Cup website, which I'll link to in the description if you want to check it out. But they said, for the first time in Overwatch history, we will be crowdfunding the World Cup prize pool with an exciting slate of skins and other in-game cosmetics over the coming months. 25% of all Overwatch World Cup cosmetics and bundles will contribute to the Overwatch World Cup prize pool. There will be no contribution cap, so prizing will continue to grow until crowdfunding ends on the last day of the Overwatch World Cup finals. Our first bundles, the conference bundles, will be on sale June 20th through the 26th. They feature the new Overwatch World Cup home and away skins for heroes hailing from each of the 3 regional conferences. As we get closer to the finals, we'll unveil our legendary and supporter bundles. We are particularly excited about the legendary skin, which is worthy of the deep blue gods that inspired it. And you can check out a sneak peek of the skin in the concept art, which you are now seeing on your screen. So this is a really big deal to kind of be getting actual crowdfunding for the Overwatch World Cup. It's a huge thing that really will help this tournament get a lot more money. It's something that realistically the Overwatch League should have as well. The skins that they release for the Overwatch League that you can spend, tokens on, those skins should also be stuff that go into contributing to the prize pool or contributing to teams in some way that they don't. But, it is what it is. The Sojourn skin they showed off, really, really cool. I really, really like it. I think it looks very, very good. My favorite Sojourn skin so far. To be fair, I haven't been a huge fan of most of her skins. She's got some decent ones. I like her kind of like her Overwatch one, her like Canada one. I like those. Like the one where she's younger. I do like those skins. But this one's really, really cool. I love the kind of not philosophy, mythology-themed skins. I loved that the Kiriko and the Junker Queen skins that we got, those mythic skins. So this is a good skin. I'm excited for it, and I think crowdfunding is going to be really, really cool. The bundles, which are on sale now, like they said in the thing, the skins are based on heroes from the regions that are represented in the World Cup. So there's an APAC bundle, so that's going to be heroes like D.Va, Kiriko, Genji, Hanzo, Lifeweaver, Symmetra. I don't know if all of them will get it. I'm recording this a little earlier than usual. EMEC bundle, that's going to be your heroes from Europe, like Reinhardt and Widowmaker, Sigma, Tracer, Moira. It's also the Middle East. I don't know if Ana will be included in that. I hope she is. Ana and Farah should be included in that. And maybe the heroes from Africa, even though they are kind of not represented in the World Cup, which is rough. Then you have the Americas bundle, which will be heroes like Soldier 76, Ashe, Reaper, Lucio, Batiste. They should also all be represented there as well. So that's pretty cool. And because the World Cup is going to end at BlizzCon, the funding period is going to be going from June 20th until BlizzCon. So several months of funding, so long as the things are on sale. The conference bundles are only on sale for a little bit, so we'll see what happens. But I'll probably pick some of them up just to have them, just to contribute a little bit, help some of those teams out. They also mentioned that there are milestone rewards, which are a celebration of the community during the crowdfunding period. As the total prize pool hits specific thresholds, fun celebratory cosmetics like sprays and player icons will be distributed to all Overwatch 2 players. As future bundles go on sale, we'll share more details on how and when the milestone rewards will be available. And, as you go down, you get a certain percentage of money from the prize pool. So the first place team gets 25% of the prize pool. Second gets 10%, third gets 8%, fourth gets 6%, and then so on down there. 3%, 1.5%, 1%, whatnot as you go down. So it's really cool. I really like this. I love all of the news that we kind of got about the World Cup. It's very, very cool. There's also drops that you can get from watching the qualifiers. There will be some watch parties that people can run. It's really cool. It's really, really awesome. I love that we're getting all this stuff. It's really, really nice to get, and I'm very, very excited for it. So nothing to really complain about here. I think it's all big news, and I think it's really, really good that we're getting this much stuff going on in the World Cup. I think it's going to be the best World Cup we've had yet. We also, though, of course, got the schedule. So the matches will be happening this weekend, running from June 22nd through June 25th, and next weekend, where they will be running from June 29th through July 2nd. So there is your scheduled days. I will throw up for you a little spreadsheet picture that I made for my purposes for the games, but you kind of see the bolded and underlined, italicized games are the ones that I'm most interested in. But I will link in the description to the schedule for the World Cup. Check it out yourself. Times will differ based on where you are, but basically on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you go to the Play Overwatch Twitch channel, and I think the YouTube channel as well, the World Cup will be on. It doesn't matter what time of day, pretty much, it's going to be on. There's a lot of games every single day. Thursday is only the EMEC region, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all day, there will be games. So check the schedule page on the World Cup website for your times. If you're like me and you live in Eastern time, in the Eastern Americas, Thursday it kicks off at 9 a.m. Eastern with Poland versus Turkey. Friday, the very first game is 1 a.m. between Singapore and Malaysia. It's 1 a.m. again on Saturday between Thailand and Australia. And Sunday, once again, 1 a.m. between New Zealand and India. But like I said, timings will depend on when games finish. So keep an eye on Twitter, keep an eye on the stream, and check your schedule website in your time zone to get more accurate times. But on this schedule thing, you can see some of the games that I've highlighted that I think are really, really interesting. In the EMECA region, lots of interesting ones this weekend. Great Britain versus Denmark, I think, should be a really good game. Netherlands versus France is interesting. Great Britain versus Netherlands, Denmark versus France. I think those are some really good games, some really good teams in this World Cup. All four of those teams were in the top four in 2019. They're all in one group. EMECA is the group of death, in my opinion, of just, it's going to be very difficult to get out of that group. 3 teams get out, 4 teams in the top 10 are in it. There's an argument to be made that all 4 of those teams should be able to make it to Anaheim, but they can't, right? Only 3 of them can make it. So it'll be really fascinating to watch that group, see how those kind of big matches go. I'm really, really interested in that one. I'm really interested in that group and that region. EMECB, I think, got some good matches this weekend as well. Oh, I can't talk. Finland versus Saudi Arabia. I think that's the battle for the number 2 spot in this group. And I think that'll be a really good matchup. That's on Thursday. On Friday, Sweden takes on Finland. Saudi Arabia take on Iceland. I think Iceland a bit of a dark horse to get out of this group. They didn't do great against Finland in the wildcard qualifiers, but they also were, kind of a last-minute addition. And so what they're able to do, we'll see. So that's a really good matchup. Iceland and Norway on Saturday, I think, is really interesting, as well as Norway versus Finland on Sunday. I think Scandinavia, they have rivalries with each other, so it'll be fun to kind of watch and see what happens there. In the APAC region, I think in the APAC A group, the most interesting match is Chinese Taipei versus Japan on Saturday. I think those are the 2 teams that are most going to be fighting for the number 2 spot in that group behind South Korea. I think both of those teams should move on. Because 3 teams come out of that group, but I think those are the 2 fighting for the 2nd spot. So I think it'll be interesting to see kind of how that one goes. Moving to APAC B, New Zealand versus Thailand on Friday. Very interesting matchup. I think those are 2 of the teams fighting for the top 2 spots here, alongside Australia, who Thailand will be matching up against on Saturday. So that's a very interesting matchup, one I'm super excited for in that group. is those two matches. Thailand, depending on how they look, could be kind of sitting pretty going into the second weekend of qualifiers, or could be kind of in a really bad spot. If they lose to both New Zealand and Australia, you got to feel like those two are the favorites. But if Thailand can win both of those games or split those games, it's a very different story. So I think that's kind of the interesting story in the APAC B region this weekend. Move on to the Americas region. America A, Canada versus USA on Friday, the first game in the Americas region. America A, at least. Very interesting matchup. They look like two teams kind of in a league of their own in the Americas, so which of those two walks away with the victory? I think most people favor the U.S., though the Toronto Defiant didn't look very good with some of those players, but then you throw in Sugar Free and Super, and you throw in Gators coaching, maybe that changes things, so very interesting matchup there. And then I think it'll be cool to see kind of where the rest of that group goes, because I don't know what to expect from countries like Costa Rica and Guatemala. Where are Mexico and Puerto Rico in comparison to each other? That'll be cool to see. They don't play this weekend, but it'll be fun to see. And then in America B, some interesting matchups as well. I think Argentina versus Brazil is the most interesting, just based on the history between those two countries in the soccer/football World Cup. Brazil has won the most World Cups in soccer. Argentina won the most recent one. They're kind of the two powerhouses coming out of South America in the World Cup in soccer. So now they match up in Overwatch. How will that go? Brazil's been very good in Valorant. So how much of that translates over to here? It's interesting. I'm very excited to see this America B group. It's one of my favorite groups in the entire World Cup. So I'm really excited to see that. And it is very, very, very cool that we're finally getting some matches this weekend. I'll just keep the schedule up here for a second, just so you can kind of look and see what we have. But it's going to be really cool. I'm very excited. Like I said, we'll talk more next week about what did happen this first weekend of matches. So I'll cover kind of the big kind of matches that happened, all that type of stuff. And we'll take a look at the updated group standings after the first weekend of matches so that we can look at where things are as we go into the second weekend. And then after the next weekend, we will be able to talk about the 16 teams that will be competing in the World Cup. Maybe I'll do a World Cup power rankings as we get into it. I don't know. We'll see. That's really the big news coming out of the World Cup this past couple weeks. Let me know in the comments down below what match you're most interested that is going on this weekend, and who you are most excited to see, which team you're most interested in watching. If you are from one of the countries competing in the World Cup this year, how do you feel about your team's chances? If you're not from one of the countries competing in the World Cup, which team do you think has the best chance to win it all based on the countries here? And even if you are from a country who is represented, which country do you think has the best chance to win it all? Whatever you want to comment down below, comment down below. And if you enjoyed this video and want more like it in the future, consider liking and subscribing, as your support does help out a bunch with the channel. That's going to be all from me, though, for today. Hope you're all staying safe and staying healthy. And until next time, bye-bye.